Hey everyone, and welcome back. Are you ready to dive into a mystery? One that has captivated people for centuries. Today, we're exploring the Atlantis conspiracy.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Was it a real place?
Yeah.
Just a cautionary tale?
hmm
Or something else entirely? We're going to unpack all that. The beliefs, the supposed evidence, all the wild theories that keep this conspiracy alive.
I think what's always so fascinating to me is how much this story really taps into our desire, like our human desire for hidden knowledge. And this allure of a lost golden age. It's a story that's resonated with people.
I know. For centuries.
Yeah. And for good reason.
It really is. It's kind of like a puzzle with missing pieces.
Yeah.
And we can't help but try to fill those gaps.
Mhm.
But before we go too far, let's go back to the source material.
Okay.
We're talking about the Greek philosopher Plato
Of course.
and his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias.
Right.
Now, these are the only historical accounts that we have of Atlantis.
Right.
And even within the conspiracy theory, they're treated as factual.
Yes.
But it's really important to remember, this is just a theory.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to approach it with a critical eye.
Right.
I mean, they offer vivid descriptions of Atlantis and this advanced society and its eventual downfall.
Right.
But we always have to think about exaggeration.
Right.
Or allegory may be woven into Plato's narrative.
Totally. So picture this, okay?
Uh-huh.
Plato describes Atlantis as this incredible maritime empire,
Okay.
advanced technology,
Uh-huh.
powerful military,
Okay.
intricate city planning. He even claims it vanished beneath the waves
Whoa.
because of its own hubris. Talk about a cautionary tale.
Oh, yeah.
It's like their arrogance and thirst for power led to their downfall.
It's a key element of the conspiracy. This
Yeah.
idea that Atlantis had knowledge and power, but it corrupted them, and that led to their destruction.
Uh-huh.
It really begs the question, was Plato presenting a literal history, or was he using Atlantis as like a philosophical tool to warn against unchecked ambition?
Right. Okay, so let's say, for the sake of this deep dive, that we entertain the idea that Atlantis was real. Where was it? This is where things get really interesting,
Okay.
because the locations are all over the map, literally.
We have theories that point to the Mediterranean Sea,
Right.
the Atlantic Ocean, even Antarctica.
What?
Some believe it was in the Aegean Sea, maybe near the island of Thera, modern-day Santorini.
Oh, yeah.
This theory connects the destruction of Atlantis to that massive volcanic eruption
Right.
that devastated the Minoan civilization.
It's easy to see how a cataclysmic event like that would inspire these tales. A lost civilization swallowed by the sea.
Totally.
The Thera eruption was a game changer.
It was.
But we also have theories pointing to the Azores,
Right.
with their strategic location in the Atlantic,
Right.
or the Canary Islands, which some believe hold remnants of Atlantean architecture.
Interesting.
And then there are the more outlandish ideas,
Like
the mythical continent of Mu.
It really is this fascinating mix of plausible locations connected to geological events or existing archaeological knowledge. And then we have the ones that venture into pure speculation.
Right.
The challenge is always separating fact from fiction,
Right.
evidence from wishful thinking.
Okay, we can't talk about Atlantis without diving into the claims about its advanced technology. We're talking electricity,
Uh-huh.
flight, even whispers of nuclear power.
Wow.
It's like they were centuries ahead of their time.
So these claims are often based on interpreting Plato's descriptions through a modern lens. Like, for instance, Plato mentions firestones
Right.
that some interpret as a form of electricity, which is intriguing. But, we're talking about a time long before the scientific principles of electricity were understood.
Right. Like, were there ancient cultures with surprisingly sophisticated technology? Absolutely. Look at the Antikythera mechanism,
That's right.
that ancient Greek astronomical calculator. It was incredibly complex for its time. But is it really fair to compare it to a modern computer?
Exactly. While we can marvel at ancient ingenuity, attributing modern technological advancements to a lost civilization like Atlantis requires a significant leap of faith.
Right.
We have to be careful not to project our current understanding of science and technology onto the past.
Okay, so let's say Atlantis did exist and had this incredible technology. How did it all vanish? That's another area ripe with theories.
I bet.
From natural disasters
Right.
to something more self-inflicted.
The theories surrounding the destruction of Atlantis are as diverse as the proposed locations.
Wow.
Natural disasters like volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, tsunamis, or even comet impacts are often cited. Then there are the more dramatic theories suggesting Atlantis met its end through a self-inflicted catastrophe,
Oh, really?
like a nuclear war or some other technological disaster.
It's like that classic trope. Humanity's own advancements become their downfall. But what's interesting is how these theories tie back to Plato's emphasis on Atlantis' hubris as the cause of its destruction.
Yeah.
It almost adds a moral dimension to the conspiracy, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It speaks to a very human fear, the fear of our own self-destruction. The idea that our ambition and pursuit of power could ultimately lead to our demise.
Yeah.
It's a theme that resonates even today.
Now, some people take the Atlantis conspiracy even further. They believe that Atlantean knowledge didn't disappear entirely. Instead, it survives today, passed down through secret societies.
Oh, wow.
Or hidden in plain sight.
This is where the conspiracy enters the realm of secret knowledge and hidden agendas. Groups like the Freemasons or the Illuminati are often cited as potential guardians of Atlantean wisdom, using it to influence world events from the shadows.
Right. The idea of a cover-up is definitely intriguing. But what kind of evidence would support that claim? Wouldn't it be incredibly difficult to keep something like that secret? Especially with the amount of information sharing we see today.
You raise a valid point. Maintaining such a large-scale cover-up would be logistically challenging, to say the least.
Right.
However, the belief in a hidden truth, a secret history that's been kept from the public, that's a powerful motivator for a lot of Atlantis proponents.
It's like they're asking us to question everything we thought we knew about history, to look beyond the official narrative.
In a way, yes. The Atlantis conspiracy challenges us to consider alternative interpretations of the past.
Right.
And to acknowledge the possibility that we may not have the full story.
All right, we've explored some fascinating theories, but now let's put on our critical thinking caps.
All right.
What does the evidence tell us about Atlantis?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Despite all the captivating theories and passionate believers, the biggest challenge for the Atlantis conspiracy is the lack of concrete evidence.
Right, but we've got a lot of speculation, but where's the proof? How do Atlantis believers explain that?
Yeah.
The glaring omission.
Well, they have a few arguments. Some diehard proponents believe that the evidence is out there just waiting to be discovered.
Oh, okay.
They argue that it's hidden in unexplored regions of the ocean
Right.
or buried under layers of sediment. It's just a matter of time before we unearth that definitive artifact, that smoking gun that proves Atlantis existed.
So it's like a treasure hunt on a global scale. But wouldn't it be incredibly lucky to stumble upon something conclusive after all this time?
You're not wrong. It would be an incredible find.
Right.
And the odds are definitely stacked against them. But the allure of discovering proof of this legendary civilization keeps the hope alive for many.
And let's not forget the ever-popular cover-up theory, right? Some folks believe that powerful organizations or governments are actively suppressing evidence of Atlantis, keeping its knowledge hidden from the public.
Ah, yes, the classic conspiracy theory trope. While the idea of a global cover-up is certainly exciting, it also raises a lot of logistical questions.
Sure.
How could such a massive secret be kept for so long, especially in our age of information and leaks?
Right. It seems almost impossible to imagine such a coordinated effort remaining airtight for centuries. But then again, that's part of the appeal of conspiracy theories, isn't it? The idea that there are forces at play beyond our understanding manipulating events from behind the scenes.
Exactly.
What?
It speaks to a desire for a deeper truth, a hidden reality that challenges the accepted narrative.
Okay, so we have the treasure hunters hoping for a lucky break, and the cover-up enthusiasts convinced that something sinister is afoot. Are there any other explanations for the lack of evidence that Atlantis proponents put forward?
There is another line of thinking within the Atlantis community that focuses on reinterpreting existing evidence.
Okay.
They argue that certain artifacts or archaeological findings have been misidentified or dismissed by mainstream archaeology because they don't fit the prevailing paradigm.
So they're saying that if we look at the evidence through the lens of the Atlantis conspiracy, a new picture might emerge, like those optical illusions where you see one thing, but then suddenly it shifts into something completely different.
That's a great analogy. They believe that artifacts or structures that seem inexplicably advanced for their time or that don't fit neatly into established timelines could be remnants of Atlantean influence.
It's almost like they're asking us to put on a different pair of glasses and re-examine everything we thought we knew about the past. It's a pretty radical approach, but it definitely makes you think.
It does, and that's one of the things I find intriguing about the Atlantis conspiracy.
Yeah.
It challenges us to question our assumptions,
Right.
to consider alternative perspectives, and to acknowledge the limits of our current understanding.
All right, so we've talked about the core beliefs, the lack of evidence, and the various explanations offered by those who believe in the existence of Atlantis. But let's shift gears for a moment and explore the cultural impact of this enduring conspiracy.
The Atlantis conspiracy has seeped into our collective consciousness,
It really has.
inspiring countless books, movies, TV shows, and even video games. It's become a cultural touchstone, a symbol of lost knowledge, advanced technology, and the cyclical rise and fall of civilizations.
It's like this idea of Atlantis has become almost mythical, larger than life. It's a story that captures our imaginations and sparks our curiosity about the unknown.
Exactly. It's a story that speaks to our fascination with the past,
Right.
our desire to understand our origins,
hmm
and perhaps even a longing for a time when humanity possessed a deeper connection to knowledge and wisdom.
But it's not just about looking back, is it? The Atlantis conspiracy also seems to connect with our anxieties about the future, our fears about the potential for self-destruction.
That's a key point. The story of Atlantis serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of hubris, unchecked ambition, and the misuse of technology. It's a warning that resonates deeply in our modern world, where we face unprecedented technological advancements and environmental challenges.
It's almost like a myth for the 21st century, isn't it?
Yeah.
A reminder that our greatest strengths can also become our greatest weaknesses.
Precisely, and that's why, despite the lack of evidence, the Atlantis conspiracy continues to hold such a powerful grip on our collective imagination.
Right.
It reflects our deepest fears, our grandest aspirations, and our enduring quest for meaning and understanding in a complex and uncertain world.
So after diving deep into the Atlantis conspiracy, what are your thoughts? Do you find yourself leaning towards belief or skepticism? It's a question that has sparked debate for centuries, and it's one that each of us has to grapple with on our own.
It's a question that has fascinated me for years, and I think the answer lies somewhere in the gray area between blind faith and outright dismissal. While the
Yeah.
lack of concrete evidence makes it difficult to fully embrace the idea of a historical Atlantis,
Yeah.
I can't help but be intrigued by the enduring power of this myth and its connection to our modern world.
I hear you. It's hard not to get caught up in the mystery and the what-ifs. And you're right. The Atlantis conspiracy isn't just about a lost civilization. It's about the idea that their knowledge, their technology might still be influencing us today.
Right.
It's almost like a secret legacy that's been passed down through the ages.
Precisely, this connection manifests in a few ways. We've already touched on the idea of secret societies like the Freemasons or the Illuminati potentially possessing hidden knowledge derived from Atlantis, using it to shape the course of human events.
Okay, so we're talking about shadowy organizations with their fingers on the pulse of global power, pulling the strings from behind the scenes. It sounds like something straight out of a Dan Brown novel.
It's definitely a popular trope in conspiracy theories and fiction, and while there's no concrete evidence to support these claims, the idea of a hidden lineage of knowledge, a secret history that's been passed down through generations, is incredibly appealing to many.
It taps into that desire for a deeper truth, a hidden reality that's just out of reach for most of us. But let's move beyond the realm of secret societies for a moment. What about the idea that Atlantean technology might have influenced our modern advancements? Is there anything to that, or is it just wishful thinking?
This is where things get even more interesting. Proponents often point to ancient artifacts or technologies that seem inexplicably advanced for their time, suggesting a possible Atlantean connection.
Give me some examples. What kind of artifacts are we talking about?
Well, one example is the Antikythera mechanism, that ancient Greek astronomical calculator we mentioned earlier. Its complexity and precision are remarkable for its era, leading some to speculate about a connection to a more advanced civilization like Atlantis.
Right, it's like a glimpse into a level of technological sophistication that we wouldn't expect to see in that period. Definitely makes you wonder. Any other examples?
Another common example is the construction techniques used in ancient megalithic structures like Stonehenge or the pyramids of Egypt. The sheer scale and precision of these structures have led some to speculate that the builders possess knowledge and technology far beyond what we typically attribute to those civilizations.
So are we saying that the ancient Egyptians or the builders of Stonehenge might have inherited their knowledge from Atlantis? That's a bold claim.
It is, and it's important to note that mainstream archaeology offers alternative explanations for these advancements, attributing them to human ingenuity experimentation and the gradual accumulation of knowledge over time.
So it's a matter of interpretation, right? How we
Yeah.
choose to explain these seemingly advanced achievements depends on our perspective and what we're willing to accept as possible.
Exactly. And this difference in interpretation lies at the heart of many debates surrounding the Atlantis conspiracy. It ultimately comes down to how we view the past, our understanding of technological progress, and whether we're willing to entertain the possibility of a lost civilization that possessed knowledge beyond our current grasp.
It's fascinating how a story that originated thousands of years ago can still spark such passionate debate and speculation today. It speaks to the enduring power of myth and our deep-seated desire to understand our place in the grand scheme of things.
I couldn't agree more. The Atlantis conspiracy, regardless of its factual basis, forces us to confront profound questions about our origins, our potential, and the limits of our knowledge. It challenges us to think critically, to question our assumptions, and to acknowledge the vastness of what we still don't know.
Well said, and that's what makes exploring these conspiracies so rewarding. It's a journey of discovery, a chance to delve into the unknown and grapple with ideas that challenge our understanding of the world. So to all our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep that spark of curiosity alive until next time. Remember to keep your minds open, but your skepticism sharp.